What do you do when everything goes sideways? Sometimes in life, things can happen within a moment that change everything. And inside those moments, things can seem traumatic or they can seem monumental, but it's really what we do after those moments that define what they really mean and who we are. Today's story is about Sound Beach native Todd Leighley, who's taken one of these life-changing moments and pushed through it in ways that can't help but be inspiring. For as long as I've known Todd, he's been an avid skater and surfer and really puts his heart into everything he does. So you can just imagine how traumatic it was the day he got into a motorcycle accident and lost part of his leg.
I've wanted to skateboard and surf from my earliest memory, just from seeing pictures and posters. My Sicilian mother, God bless her, was a little overprotective and she didn't want me skateboarding at all. But I finally wore them down and my dad brought me a proper Madrid Beau Brown from Northport Bike-A-Lot in the late 70s. Well, when I was in my 20s, early 20s, I had the chance, it just kind of fell into my lap to go to Hawaii, and I jumped on it. And that's where it's like the skateboarding, surfing mecca. It's like, it's the pilgrimage to the motherland, and it was eye-opening, wild. But the minute I took one foot off the plane, the flowers, I guess it's the hibiscus and the other tropical flowers just hit me, and I sort of had a thought, I'm never leaving. I thought I found my home. That lasted 5 years. Yeah, I picked up skating again. I was searching for something to fill that void. You know, you can't surf every day in Long Island. And as a 30-something-year-old man, I picked up a skateboard again because some parks were going up out east. Greenport had a nice park built by Team Payne, and I managed to get a key to the Autumn Bowl in Brooklyn, which was a warehouse setting. You take the key, you can go skate any time of the day. It was a little bit of, to this day, I don't know how I managed to get the key, because you sort of got to know somebody who knows somebody. It was like living a childhood dream because you had all this terrain to park, to skate. And it was, you know, growing up in Stony Brook, skating at the university and all that, we would have killed for these facilities. We were pretending, we were hitting a curb block the way they were hitting a half pipe. That's all we had. Maybe a parking garage. We did a couple of bombs down a parking garage, and we'd hit the lecture center wall, and we did it day in and day out, and we loved it. We would have killed for this terrain. So when this terrain started popping up, I mean, I was like a kid in a candy store. Motorcycling was a turn the key and go, instant delivery of that adrenaline and endorphin, and it's almost like cheating. All the stuff I'm into now, like surfing and mountain biking and skateboarding, you have to put physical energy into it to get that reward. You know, the motorcycle's the engine. And I guess, you know, the downside to that too is probably what happened to my leg. You know, there's a risk. I got hit on my left leg in '09 on Middle Country Road. I got caught out at night. I was wearing all black. I didn't think I was gonna be riding at night. I was probably invisible riding down the street. And some guy tried to turn left, and I was coming, and he got chocolate all over my peanut butter, so to speak. But yeah, my left leg got wrecked. I lost my foot below the knee, femur compounded, and I'm probably pretty lucky to be alive. 3 days into the hospital stay, they came to me and said, the foot has necrosis, was the word they used for it. It's not a word I'm very fond of. I had my leg. Everyone thinks, you know, it was ripped off at the site. They had metal and it was bolted all together, and I was wiggling my toes. You know, I could feel everything. It was there for 3 days. And it's funny, looking back on the whole traumatic episode, I kind of just rolled through the whole thing. You'd think you'd panic or be all depressed, but I was sort of in like, I guess my adrenaline was kicking and I was in survival mode. I was also training martial arts pretty regularly. I had a brown belt at the time, so you have that don't quit mentality. So I was pretty locked into a goal, and I was gonna get through it. And I think I did. I was back to work in 4 months and learning, you know, and then my goal after that to feel normal was to try to do all the activities I used to do. Skating was disheartening. Right off the bat, it felt like trying to ice skate in high heels. It did not feel cool. I couldn't get low or bend get compact, to get that low center of gravity. You know, it stinks because I was just in that mode. I was skating as a man. You know, they call them skate geezers. You know, there's a whole resurgence in guys our age that were skating, and it's like getting your youth back. And it was feeling right when I plucked that fruit off the tree, I felt like it was yanked right back for me. So it was really messing with my head a little bit. I started mountain biking a lot. I got back to the karate. The karate worked really good. That was rehabbing. But you need that. There's a video on Facebook I watch all the time. It's on my skate park page. There's this guy Slow-Mo out in California. He's a surgeon or a doctor, successful. He had some disease where he started losing his eyesight, so he couldn't practice medicine anymore. So his little short vignette on Facebook's interesting, but he's this guy. He goes on the Venice sidewalk and roller skates really in slow motion, and he just has the best time. And he talks about the science behind just rolling somewhere, like breeze in your hair, and there's a little calcium deposit, I think, in your inner ear that controls balance. And you know, when it moves around and your body adjusts, there's, you know, endorphins and stuff. Pleasure is derived from that. Acceleration, you know, is a big factor in that. And you know, the karate was great for a lot of things, but it wasn't filling that void that skateboarding and surfing, the motion and the carving and the cruising. I was experimenting with a lot of different techniques. I was trying every board under the sun. I switched to longboards. I never thought I'd be a longboard skateboarder. You know, we rode pools, and longboards were for, you know, guys in Birkenstocks on the campus wearing a tie-dye. But I was having fun on some longboards. I was feeling out the different options that were available from the equipment that's out there. It's sort of a skill I picked up in Hawaii. They've got a thing called being a waterman. So if you're a surfer, the ultimate surfer is to be a waterman, where you spearfish, you throw net, you snorkel the reef when it's flat, you ride a boogie board, short board, long board, stand-up paddle. You just have an open mind, and you approach everything with that open mind. And when you go through life like that, you know, there's a lot more options. I stumbled onto this park in Brooklyn at the time it's called the Brooklyn Bike Park. Now it's going under the name Vela Solutions, and it's a new design of skate park. It's actually called an all-wheel park because kids on bikes can ride it, and it's revolutionary. The park in Brooklyn got me back into skating in my 40s and with one leg. You don't have to kick. Once you're on your board, the gravity, I think the scientific terms are potential energy maybe, but you can pump the transition. You know, when you're on the top of the hill, you have potential energy. So when you roll down, and you can generate more energy in the transition. Because, you know, it's like that, what do they call it, forever machines? Like if you drop a marble, you know, and they go forever, they can't go forever, you know, because that doesn't exist. But with this, when you add your mechanics to it and you can pump it, you can generate your own speed, you can literally fly forever and never have to kick. And we formed an EBRG, which is Employee Business Resource Group, and it's an effort of the company to give back to the community. I had a suggestion. I said, well, since you're building these bike paths or you're involved with them somehow, can we get a park exactly like the one in Brooklyn, and can we get it built out here on some of this land somewhere? And they did. They liked the idea until some of the lawyers heard about it, you know. The EBRG group is still moving forward, and we're doing a lot of great volunteer work. I'm going to a homeless shelter every Wednesday, and we have the notion of maybe trying to get one built there because they have a tract of land. I'm a father of 4 young kids. I want to pass on skating to them the way in the 50s a dad would go on the front lawn and toss a ball around with his kid. To me, it's an American cultural asset. What I'd love to see is parks redesigned to facilitate more of creative play and movement and tricking kids into getting exercise they're not getting. Kids are sitting on the couch, they're watching the Xbox, they're putting headsets on, they're talking to some kid in the Midwest, and they're talking like, and the trash talk is like part of the hobby. I mean, like, and the parents are out working, no one's raising their kids. So this just seemed like a great way to you know, readjust. everything you do, the prosthetic will add 30% of difficulty, or the effort you put into it. Let's say any activity, climbing the stairs, the person with the prosthetic is using 30% more energy. You know, getting the mail, 30% more energy. So, you know, it is a challenge. It's an added challenge. And that's what opened my eyes to this type of park, because I was doing something that able-bodied people can't do. Maybe because I had the mindset to want to get back to the level of functionality before my accident, and I had that open mind from the skateboard world and the surfing world to approach things with an open mind. But this park, to me, if it can help me, and I'm just one guy, there's veterans coming back from war that are all banged up. There's kids with autism that aren't functioning or getting the same things out of sports or organized events. You know, there's blind kids, there's kids that were able-bodied that are in a wheelchair now. They can roll this park. My mind was, I'm like, why isn't this in every town? I do tend to like to finish the things I start. So and I got nothing to lose. I'm working at it. People are reaching out to me that are interested. I got nothing to lose. I can keep pushing for it, keep trying for it. What's it costing me? I got a little Facebook page set up, the Hawks Nest All-Wheel Park. There's been a lot of activity. It's an interesting setup because you can clearly see who's clicking on it, who likes it. You know, it's a real great way to get a pulse of the situation, and there's interest out there for it. You know, I'm sure there's opposition too. Long Island's got that not in my backyard syndrome, but I think if people really thought about, you know, the next generation, they'd get behind it. It could be done cheaply and easily, and it could do a lot of good. Well, right now, just reach out to me on the Hawks Nest All-Wheel Park, and we could start organizing. And I guess the politicians have to know we want this. There'll probably be petitions to sign. But find me on the Hawks Nest All-Wheel Park page. I have been going to some Sound Beach Civics Association meetings. You know, if you sit around and wait for things to happen, they're never going to happen. You got to actively take a part in your success every day.
Bit for You are backyard inspirational talks for people just like you. We're looking for people that have inspirational stories. So if you know something that's going on or you have a great story, please let us know. Contact us through Facebook, and thanks for watching.